Good morning, class. Welcome back. Our series of Microsoft Word, whereby we want to understand various features for Microsoft Word. Today, we are going to look at the Home tab. I believe you all typed the text which I gave you to type. So that text, we are going to use it to see how we can change, how we can do various things. So for today's lesson, this is what we are going to cover. Let me share my screen. So for today's lesson, lesson 2, we are going to look at the Home tab. This is PowerPoint, but in Microsoft Word, the Home tab has that word home. After 5, you go to home. It is the same as in PowerPoint. So we are going to see the features under the Home tab. That is what we are going to see. And some of the features we are going to see, that is copying and pasting text in various places. So this one, we shall do it under the Clipboard group. Under the Clipboard group, we are going to look at copying and pasting text in various places. And we are going to see also cutting, moving text to a new place. All that is done under the Clipboard group. Remember, we talked about groups. We said these toolbars are divided into groups. So then we shall see using fonts. So we have the font group in Microsoft Word. We are going to see what we mean by fonts and how we use the fonts. Then we shall go ahead to use the bullets and numbering, text alignment, line spacing, indenting text, shading and borders, and finding and replacing a text, the use of format painter, an introduction to creating automatic table of contents. Always don't forget to like and subscribe for more lectures so that we move together. Okay, let us start the practical session. Let me share the screen of the text. So this is the text which we have. Normally, you have to first type. You type all the information you need. You have to first type it and put it on the computer. Then you save it as we saw in the first lesson. So after saving the text and after typing it all, then you do what we call editing or formatting text. So the things we are going to do, this is the editing or the formatting of the text. So we are going to begin with the Clipboard group. And under the Clipboard group, we have the cut, the copy, the paste, and the format painter. Format painter, we shall come back to it at a later stage. But now let us begin with the cut and the copy and the paste. So the cut combines with the paste to perform an action. The copy combines with the paste to perform an action. All of these buttons have shortcut keys. If you point at a cut, it has a shortcut key, which is Ctrl X on the keyboard. If you point copy, it has a shortcut key, which is Ctrl plus C on the keyboard. If you point at paste, it has a shortcut key, which is Ctrl plus V. Now, these shortcut keys, you can only learn them by practice. The more you practice them, the more you learn them by heart. They make life easy, and you look more professional when you are using shortcut keys on the computer. To use any of these cut and copy, to use them, you first highlight the text that you need to work upon. If you don't highlight, the computer will not know what you want to do. So I'm going to create paragraphs in my work by using the enter button. Remember, we said the enter button is used to create paragraphs. So I have today's society is shaped by sudden growth and development of information and communication technology, ICT, resulting with this great dependence on the knowledge and competence of individuals from the ICT area. Now, when I come here, I realize I need although this has to begin on a new paragraph, but here I didn't create a paragraph. So I have to click at the beginning of that sentence, although, then I press enter on the keyboard. So I want you all to create a paragraph there. Then we are going to create another paragraph. Let's look for another place. Okay. Now, when we come to being, so we want to create another paragraph there at being. So we click and then we press enter on the keyboard. So that is the use of the enter key. Now, what if I created this paragraph accidentally and I don't want it? So I can use either the backspace or the tab. How do I use the two? Remember these buttons I told you in last lesson, practice them. So to remove this space, using the backspace, I'll click at the beginning of the sentence and I'll press the backspace key so it will go back. Now I'm going to press the enter. If I want to use the delete key, I can click at the end of the full stop and I delete space. So when I delete space, still it will come back. So that's how you can remove that space. You can either use the backspace or you can use the deleting of space. So now we have 3 paragraphs created. Now I want to remove the first paragraph. Now when I look at my work here, this first paragraph is supposed to be the last paragraph here. So to be able to achieve that, to remove this first paragraph, to put it here, there are 2 ways I can do it. So the first way is to highlight or to select. Remember highlighting, you click, hold down the mouse button, you click and hold down the mouse button, then you drag until when you reach where you want to end. So after highlighting, so the tool to use there is cut and paste. So to cut this text, you click on the scissor. Now you see, before I highlight, this tool here is not active. The moment I highlight, the tool is going to become active, the cut tool. So I click on cut. Now when I cut, my work disappears. However, the computer saved it somewhere where you can't see. So you click where you want that work to go. You put the cursor where you want that work to go. Then you come back and you click on the paste button. You click on the paste button and the work will come. That is cut and paste. Another way of cutting, say I want to cut this paragraph from here. So as you see here, it says shortcut is Ctrl X. So I can press Ctrl X on the keyboard. Then I click where I want to put it. When you see the shortcut says Ctrl V. So I can use Ctrl V to paste. Another way, if I have this text here which I want to move or to cut, I can select it. After selecting it, I hold and I drag it where I want it. So we have seen 3 ways of doing the same thing. The choice is yours. We have seen clicking on the cut, click where the text wants to go, then you paste. Then we have seen using the keyboard, whereby you select, then Ctrl X, click where you want, you paste. Then we have seen also the drag and drop. Select, hold, drag, and drop it where you want. So the choice is yours. You can choose whatever you want. That is cut and paste. You can also, normally we call it moving text. You can move text from one place to another. Then let's go to copy text. Now, I have this paragraph, which is today, that paragraph there. But I want to duplicate this paragraph to have the same paragraph down here, but when the original stayed. So there we use what we call copy and paste. So we shall click on the copy button. Then you see, when I click copy this time, the text does not go away because we are making a copy of it. So it will not go away. So we click where I want to copy it to. Then you click back on paste. Now, as you can see, the paragraph today, we have that paragraph and we have a copy of it. Now, what if I didn't want that? I want to reverse the action. So if you want to reverse the action, you use the undo. Write down this one, the undo. So undo takes you one step back. Undo will take you one step back. So undo also has a shortcut which is Ctrl plus Z on the keyboard. So when I click undo, so it goes away. But there is also redo. Redo is Ctrl plus Y, and redo will take you one step forward. So if I want to return it, so you can keep practicing these 2 buttons, the undo and redo, and watch what they do. Yesterday, we saw the save, which is Ctrl plus S. So we have seen the 3 buttons on the quick access toolbar. That is the save, undo, and redo. So that is what they do. Undo will take you one step backwards. Redo will take you one step forward. Copy, you can also highlight and use Ctrl C, Ctrl plus C on the keyboard. Then again, Ctrl plus V on the keyboard. Also copy, you can highlight. After highlighting, you can right-click the text. After right-clicking, then you choose copy. Right-click also works on cut. You have the option for cut. So you choose copy. Then you go where you want to paste the text. You right-click, and then you choose paste. So that is it. So there are various ways of doing the same thing. Now, we have this text. When you look down here, the text is on page 1 of 1, right? Page 1 of 1, and we have 314 words. We want to copy this text and paste it on page 2. But instead, we have only one page. We want to copy this text and we put it on the second page, but we have only one page. So here we are going to use a feature which is called page break. Page break. Hope you're writing these new terminologies down. If you hear new terminology, you write it down. In your free time, practice it or research about it. This is the only way you are going to learn computer. It's by practice. It's by practice. If you are watching a movie, you'll never learn the computer. So make sure whatever terminology I mention, if you don't know it, note it down. Then practice it in your free time. 2-3 times after practicing it, you'll have learned it. During the exam, it will be obvious. These are the same terminologies we are going to use in the exam. Okay, so we want to copy this text and then we paste it to page 2, but we don't have page 2. So there we use what we call page break. So first of all, we are going to select the entire text. To select all of your work, that is, we use a feature which is called select all. And that is Control A. Control A on the keyboard is select all. Or if you don't use that, if you don't use Control A, you can come to the editing there. Under editing, you have select, then you have select all. So here I have selected all the text that I have. After selecting that text, then I'm going to copy the text because I want to copy this text and I paste it to second page. So I right click, then I choose copy. This time I've used the option of right clicking. We have seen so many ways, the choice is yours. So I've used right click, copy. So I'm going to click at the very end of my text. At the very end of my text. So that is where I'm going to create the page break. So page break has 2 ways of creating it. The first way is to press Ctrl and Enter on the keyboard. So Ctrl and Enter on the keyboard. So it will take you to page 2. As you can see now, we're on page 2 of 2, right? Then now we are free to paste our text there. Okay. So as you can see now, I've copied this text from page 1 and I pasted it on page 2. I'm going to use undo. That is Ctrl Z. Okay. I'm going to use another feature of page break. Ctrl A, I select all my text. Then Ctrl C, that is copy. So this time I go to the end. So instead of pressing Ctrl, Enter, I'm going to come to Insert. Under Insert, I'm going to click Page Break. So there we are. I have a page break. Then I'm going to use Ctrl V to paste the text. Okay. So there I've succeeded to copy this text from page 1 to page 2 using the page break and then using the copy and paste feature. Let's go back to the home tab. So far we have seen the cut, we have seen the copy, and we have seen the paste. Format painter, we shall come back to it at a later stage. Let us now go to the font group. Font group. Now, font group is all about changing the appearance of our text. So we want to change the appearance of our text and by using the font group. Now, my work here has no title, okay? I want to give it a title, but remember, the computer starts at the top, so there's no way I can type up here. So to be able to create a title, it means I have to create some space up by clicking at the beginning, then I'll press enter. I click back because I've created space. Then I'm going to create a title, which is called Computer Literacy. Okay. So we are going to use the font group to change this title here. So I'm going to highlight the title because that's what I want to work upon. The moment I highlight it, when you see here, it is telling me it is Times New Roman. That is the font. That is the font face. I can click, then I can change to a different font face, depending on what I like. Okay, let me call it. Let me change it to that. Then I can change its size. That is the font size. Can give it any size you want. That is font size, changes the size. Now this text appears as if it is already bold. But let's look at just this paragraph. Today's society is shaped by certain growth, but I want this word I sit in bracket to be bold. Only this. So I'll highlight only that word. Then I click on the bold button. Bold button has a shortcut which is Control B, which you can use. So I have made it bold. Now, what if I want to remove that bold? Again, I will select it and I go back where I put it from. That's where I remove it. Okay, let me make it bold. You can even make the entire paragraph, select it and make it bold. You can click the bold shortcut key here. The same button removes the bold. Then we have the italic. Select. You can make it the text italic. Sometimes if you want to stress a certain text, you can make it italic. So I'm going to make that paragraph italic. I'm going to put it in inverted commas and make it italic. I want to underline my title here. So I select it. Then I underline it by pressing that button. Or to remove it, you can also underline it by pressing Ctrl+U on the keyboard. But when you look on this button, underline, it has a drop-down arrow. Same applies, the font has a drop-down arrow and the size has a drop-down arrow. Anytime you say drop-down arrow, that means there are more options which you can choose from. Bold has no bold and options, italic has no options. But this one has options. So you click on the drop-down arrow. So you have different lining styles to choose from. You can choose a double line. You can choose a dotted line. You can choose that. So you can do practice on those. Now let me leave it at a double line. But still when you come down, you have more options like underline color. So you can choose a different underline color for your text. Okay, I made it double underlined red. Okay. Now I'm going to change the size, font size of the first paragraph, only the first paragraph. So I'll select it and I come to size. I give it a different font size. Then I'm going to change the font of the first paragraph only. And I'm going to call it Aptos. So we have seen the font size, bold, italic, underline, and we have said underline has different options which you can choose from. Now let us go to the strike through. Strike through, when I select a text like this, the word knowledge here, if I click on strike through, so what does strike through mean? Strike through normally means this word is cancelled but is not deleted. I have cancelled it but have not deleted it. We have also what we call double strike through. Now, if I want to double strike through this word here, now when here we have only one strike through, but this time I need a double strike through. So for a double strike through, you come to the dialog box launcher. Remember we said, if you see there's another tool you need and it's not there, then you come to more tools under the dialog box launcher. So here you have more tools. You have the font, which we have seen. Then we have the font style, that is bold italic. We have seen font size. Now bold italic is not here, but here you have another bold italic. Here we have bold italic, bold, then regular. Font size we have. Font color we have seen. Font color we have not yet seen. We are going to see. It is there. Underline style we have seen. Then underline color we have seen. It is there. But now we have seen the strike through. But now we need the double strike through. So if I click on double strike through, the computer is going to show me an example. Then I'm going to click OK. So that is double strike through. Okay. Then let's go to another tool. That is Subscript and Superscript. Okay. Let's go to page 2. At the bottom of page 2, we want to type a mathematical formula. That mathematical formula is going to be x to the base 2, then plus y to the power 3 is equal to 500. Let me increase the font. You can also increase the font from here. Font size, you can use that to increase it. Okay. Now, this x, we said we need x to the base 2. That means this 2 has to come down because we need x to base 2. So that means we are going to select this 2 only. And then we are going to hit the subscript. It also has a shortcut which is Ctrl plus equal sign on the keyboard. So we hit this subscript, then x, y to the power 3. So to the power 3, that means that 3 has to go up. So you select it when you hit the superscript. So there you have succeeded to have x to the base 2 and y to the power 3. Now what if I want to write in chemistry water, which is H2O? Remember this 2 has to go down. So I selected 2, then subscript. Now I want to write 40 degrees Celsius. The temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. So that means I write 400, then a C. Then I'm going to select this last 0, then I'll make, so I have succeeded writing 40 degrees Celsius. If I want to write 45 degrees, I'll type 450, select the last, and then superscript. So I have succeeded to write 45 degrees. To remove it, you go back where I put it from, select, hit on the same button, it will move. Select, hit on the same button, and you have removed it. Select, hit on the same button, you have removed it. Okay, let us save our work using Ctrl S. So I've saved my work. So far, we have seen the second line of buttons. Let us go to the third line under the font. Now we have what we call text effect. So text effect, you can select a text like a title there. Then come text effect has a drop down. That means it has more options. So you can choose any text effect you want your text to take. In your free time, you can practice various text effects. We have the glow, reflection, and so on. Practice all this in your free time and you see how your work changes. That is text effect. Just a click of a mouse and see how your work appears. Okay. Then we have text highlighter. Now, text highlighter, sometimes when we are reading a novel, a textbook, you can come across a sentence or a word and use a highlighter marker to highlight it such that you can get back to it at a later stage. Even here in Word, the same can be done. Same can be done. Say, today's society is shaped by sudden growth. I want to come back at a later stage at this. So I click, they have a drop down arrow there. You have different colors there. So you can choose a color, then you drag your mouse over a sentence. Then you continue reading, you drag your mouse over a sentence. So here I'm using text highlighter. After, you see the mouse still has that mark of a text highlighter. So you return it by clicking back onto the tool, so it is returned. But what if you want to remove this text highlighter color? So if you want to remove it, you go back. This time you choose no color. Then you click and you drag over. It is removed. Click and drag over. Click and drag over. Then you click back on the tool. So that is how we use the text highlighter in Microsoft Word. Then we have the font color. Font color will change the color of your words. So this word ICT, I want to change it to a different color, so I will select it. Again, font color has a drop down. That means there are more options. So I can give it a different color. This paragraph here, I select it. I come to font color. Then I can give it a different color. That is font color. Then we have change case. Now, I have typed this entire paragraph in small letters, but I want to change it to capital letters. So I will select what I want to change case, come to a drop down arrow, uppercase, we turn everything capital. Then lowercase, I want to change small letters, that is lowercase. Sentence case will make the first letter capital, the rest is small. Lowercase, everything small. Uppercase, everything capital. And capitalize each word will make each word capital. Say, if I select this and I choose capitalize each word, so we say that each word begins with a capital letter. Then we have also the toggle case. That means each word begins with a small letter and the rest are capital. Let me return it back to sentence case. Okay. Don't forget to save your work, Ctrl S on the keyboard. So under the font group, we are remaining with this. We have seen this one is the same as this, that is the size. You can increase the size, font size. You can reduce it. Then we have this tool, which is clear formatting. Clear formatting will take the work back as it was originally. So if I select Ctrl A, I'm going to select my entire work. Then I click on clear formatting. So my work will go back as it was when I first typed it. Now, let me change computer literacy. I'm going to change it to a font, which is called Abadi. Then I'm going to give it a size, which is size 18, and a red font color. Then I'm going to underline it. I'll make it italic as well. Okay. We are going to look at a tool which is called Format Painter. Format Painter. Now, Format Painter, I want another word here, this paragraph here, which I put in quotes. I want it to look exactly the same as this word here. But I don't want to go through the hassle of selecting it, then go to size, font, and so on. But I want it to take exactly the same as this. So what do? I select that text which I want it to appear. Then I click on Format Painter. So my cursor now comes with a brush. So I select and I brush that text. So that text, as you see now, it has become exactly like the other one. I repeat. Now let me change today's. I'm going to give it a different up close, different size 16, and I'm going to color it with a blue color. But I want some other work here to look exactly like this. So I select that. Then I click on Format Painter. Then I paint. So that is the Format Painter tool. So at this stage, We have seen every tool under the clipboard group, font group. So I expect you to be able to use these groups very, very well now in your work. From this lecture, from this lesson, from today, start practicing these tools. It's only practice that will make perfect. Only practice. There's no shortcut. Every day sit on the computer, practice these tools. Then they will become part of you. They will be on your fingertips. Let us go to the paragraph group. Now, paragraph group is used to change the appearance of paragraphs. As here, paragraph group, it deals with the paragraphs. We shall begin with bullets. Shall begin with the bullets. Let's go to page 2 of our work. When you come to page 2, you see I made these a points. Okay, let me just create points from here. When you look here, we have being a computer illiterate person today means being a person who is unable to participate in modern society and a person without opportunity. And despite the acknowledged necessity and benefits of inclusive computer literacy from institutions like schools, universities, colleges, there are still groups of people having difficulty accessing basic computer education, such as. So these groups of people, we are going to outline them as points. So I'm going to press the enter key there. So persons with disabilities and persons with learning difficulties, then migrant workers, and unemployed persons, and persons that live in remote areas. So I'm going to make these ones now bulleted points. How do I do it? By selecting that text. Then I come over there. Then I choose any bulleting style I want. You can choose any bulleting style you want. To remove the bullets, you come back and you select none. So you select a work, then you can put any bulleting style you want. Now, what if I don't want bullets? I want to use numbering. So I can select a work, then I come to numbering. That is 1, 2, 3. You can use various numbering. The choice is yours. Remove the numbering style, you come back and you choose none. Okay. So I'm going to use numbering. Let me use this. So this is bullets, and this is numbering. That is how we use these two. Then we have the indent. I have this paragraph here, which I put 2 inverted commas. I want to indent it. So you can indent it. You can indent it to the right, you can indent it back. That's how we use indent. So you can indent a paragraph like this one. You can indent it back. So all these things are going to come by practice. Do them in your now and again work which you type. Maybe you are typing a letter to someone. Maybe you are typing a CV, an application letter. Apply all these tools. You are typing a report to your boss. Your boss needs a report. Apply these tools. That's the only way you can learn them. Or you can get a newspaper, get a story from a newspaper, type that story, look upon the features or the tools which they used into that newspaper, look for them here and see that you can do them. That is how you can learn these things, okay? Let's go to alignment. Alignment. So you can put text on the right, that is Control L. You can also put it in the center, that is Control plus E. You can also put it on the left, that is Control R. So on the right, Control R, left is Control L, and the center. However, we have also the justify of the text. So justifying, when you look at my text, on the left-hand side, it is well aligned. But when you look on the right-hand side, it is in the zigzag form. So to avoid that, you use the justify tool by selecting the text, and then you apply justify. So as you can see, it is well aligned on both sides. So this makes your work neat. Select the text, then press justify. As you can see, your work now becomes neat. Okay? It is more neat than just leaving it in zigzag form. Select, click, justify. Then we have the line spacing tool. Line spacing tool. When you look at our text here, the spacing from one line to another one may be small. So you can select, come to line spacing. That is 1.5. Can make it 2.5. That is too big. The standard one which you use is 1.5. But you can even make it 1.15, depending on what you want. So let us leave it at 1.15. That is line spacing. Let me put this back into the center. Then we come to shading. Shading. I have this title here. I want to shade it with a color. Now get a difference between shading and text highlighter. Some students in exams, when you tell them to shade, shading is putting a background color. So if you're told to put a background color or to shade, this is what you do. Some people instead, they use a text highlighter and they do this. That is wrong. Okay? That is wrong. So shading, we use this tool. You should get a difference between the shading tool and the text highlighter. Shading tool puts a background color into a text. You can contrast it to give it a better color for you to. That is the shading tool. If I want to shade this paragraph here, okay, that is shading. It is different from a text highlighter. Those are different things. Okay. As you can see, text highlighter only highlights the sentence, but the shading shades the entire background. I'm using undo. Then we have borders. So I may want to put a border onto this paragraph here.